All right, Saagar, what's on your radar?
Well, Thursday morning, we covered the shocking live news of Ghislaine Maxwell's arrest by the FBI. This story culminates nearly a year of the Epstein investigation without any developments whatsoever, and has left victims publicly asking whether they will ever actually get justice. And as we noted in our live reaction, a lot of very powerful people have a lot to lose if Maxwell begins talking, and it appears now that is very much a possibility. The details emerging from Maxwell's situation are wild. The government's case against her isn't even for any recent crimes. All of the ones being charged against Maxwell occurred in the late 1990s, largely with the same pattern that she displayed throughout her entire life. She served as the alleged chief procurer of young girls for Epstein, often allegedly participating in many of the sexual assaults. And in a press conference after her arrest, the FBI noted that Maxwell is being charged with victimizing a girl as young as 14, and specifically notes in her court filing that Maxwell's powerful network of friends and individuals is why she poses a major flight risk from the United States perspective. So that network of powerful friends helped her evade capture over the last year or so. They hid her in their homes, all because she knows exactly what they did. So just to give you an idea of the sheer horror of what these people were engaged in enabling, here is one of Maxwell's victims describing her experience from 1991.
She did rape me. I would say it's more than 20 or 30 times. She is a rapist, destroyed what was supposed to be the best years of my life, being a teenager, being a cheerleader.
Maxwell's arrest has many asking the most obvious question. Will she reveal what she knows about the many powerful people who participated in her sex trafficking ring? Now recall, powerful people who've already been accused of sexual misconduct at one of Epstein's residences or at the command of one of his victims include billionaires, former Israeli heads of state, foreign princes, media elites, famous lawyers, and many, many more. Those are just the ones that we know about. So to give you an idea of just how connected Maxwell was, here are photos that came out over the weekend showing Maxwell sitting on the British royal throne alongside Kevin Spacey. A private palace tour was reportedly arranged by Prince Andrew for Maxwell and her guests, including actor Kevin Spacey, former President Bill Clinton, who is said to have been off to the side in that same photo. Andrew and Clinton remain the two single high-profile men that can be definitively linked for a long time to Maxwell. Now, Maxwell was so ingratiated to Clinton, she scored herself a pretty good seat at Chelsea Clinton's wedding and is known to have traveled on the same private plane as Clinton during the same trip that they apparently visited Buckingham Palace and elsewhere. So recall that Netflix's recent documentary features an interview of a tech worker at Epstein's private island, alleging that Clinton was once seen on the island where hundreds of assaults took place, though he denies ever being there. Now, Clinton may have a lot to worry about, although Prince Andrew apparently may be okay. Laura Goldman, she's a former close associate of Maxwell's, told the Daily Telegraph that Maxwell would likely remain loyal to Prince Andrew because he helped launch her socialite career in New York City. But she was much more likely to, quote, sell out somebody like Bill Clinton. And another former associate of Epstein, Stephen Hoffenberg, he told Page Six, quote, she's going to be naming some big names, not only in terms of those who abused underage girls at Epstein's parties, but also those who made financial arrangements with Epstein or benefited from his generosity, including flying on his plane or staying at his homes. Even more interesting was Hoffenberg's revelation that Maxwell herself was shocked to be arrested because, quote, Ghislaine thought that she was untouchable, that she'd be protected by intelligence communities. She and Jeffrey helped with information, the Israeli intelligence services, Les Wexner, who was given millions to Israel, by Prince Andrew, President Clinton, and even by President Trump, who was well known to be an acquaintance of her and Epstein's. So one thing that is essential for all of us is to refuse to let up on this case, because only if we demand answers at the highest level of scrutiny will we ever be able to get any answers about who is implicated and who is not, because people in power just have far too much to lose from the truth ever actually coming out. And Crystal, I wish you'd been around whenever the breaking news happened, just because we were going crazy over here. And the details...
Stunning.
The details are shocking. I mean, even more, I read the entire government's, the bail request, denial request against Ghislaine Maxwell. She has 15 different bank accounts in the United States, ranging from $500K to $20 million, as well as foreign accounts with well over $1 million in assets. Nobody knows where any of this money comes from, right? Her father was rich, but, she's got some buildings she apparently just owned and sold for cash and is buying, the New Hampshire residence where she was captured. Bought it in an all-cash deal through lawyer cutaways. The people who sold it didn't even know that it was her. And the entire thing is just, it's so dramatic. I mean, those photos in the throne room, sitting on the Queen's throne at the behest of Prince Andrew. So much of what she knows and the powerful people she can expose. And like I said, look, everybody's connected to her. Bill Clinton, Trump and Melania have a photo with them.
Crazy the number of people that she or Epstein turn up in photos with. I mean, it's like you can
or like
hardly...
Elon Musk, too.
Right, exactly. Ken Klivenstein can tell you about that. Apparently another thing I missed was their little spat online.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, the people that they ingratiated themselves to, and this was part of one of the mysteries, and what has always been alleged is that the way that Epstein and apparently Maxwell were able to get away with this for so long is that they had dirt on all these prominent people.
Right.
So no one wanted to scrutinize. The media organizations didn't want to scrutinize. The people who knew what was going on didn't want to say anything. You had, people who gave him a really sweetheart deal down in Florida, and then even after he's convicted of sex crimes, he's still able to live this lifestyle. Prominent people, Bill Gates and others, still going to his house for dinners, and all this is still going on. So the question of where did the money come from? How were you protected for so long, over decades? That is what we really need to find out, and who is implicated in that.
I mean, that Fox News interview that we played, that was from 1991, that victim is alleging. That's 29 years ago, okay? So that's like, we've got 91. Now, the charges that are being filed against her are from 96, I think, to 98. They don't even have anything to do with after 2005, with the whole sex trafficking ring. Remember, Virgin Islands, I think it was the Inspector General, the Attorney General there, put out a report that says girls as young as 11 were seen departing Epstein's plane as recently, I think it's 2017, on the island. So you can go just all the way down the line. Her central role in so much of this. And again, we have to ask the question is, what does she know about certain people? Again, Bill Clinton, we have no idea. I mean, traveled on the same plane, apparently hung out with Epstein. This contractor says that he saw Bill Clinton. He was like, hey, that's Bill Clinton sitting on the porch in the Virgin Islands. I mean, if that is true, that is unbelievably bad for Clinton. But it's not just him. Ehud Barak, the former Israeli prime minister. Leslie Wexner, the guy who Epstein worked for in the 1980s and apparently, took all his money from or retained power of attorney.
Been his major benefactor.
Right. Well, he says, I didn't know anything about it. He said that in 2017, 2018, or whenever after Epstein committed suicide and was arrested. Well, all of that, which has come out again. While this is one of the world's most powerful billionaires just snookered into this. And this is the only high-level conspiracy theory, which I really think has more truth than not to it. Because, again, you have... we put the list here, like Bill Richardson, all these governors, former Senate Majority Leader, Bill Clinton, foreign princes, everybody, cross-Atlantic, the Prince Andrew, who apparently, this scandal goes at the heart of Buckingham Palace, goes to the heart of, possibly the White House here in the United States. Like I said, Trump and Melania cavorted with Epstein for a long time. He was a Mar-a-Lago.
Them too.
He was a Mar-a-Lago member. There's no allegations in terms of the same level of relationship that Bill Clinton had with the Epsteins. But still, it is an issue. And this just goes throughout the entire government, throughout American society, high finance, and so much more. And, we have, remember, that pulled out of Epstein's house in New York City was an apparent black book, which appeared to have the names and the addresses and the name of so many of the people, high-profile people that Jeffrey Epstein used to cavort with. And we also know that there were things that were taken out of Epstein's safe. Allegedly, they included videos and other video and blackmail evidence that he might have had. Again, we have no idea. That's been sitting in the FBI Southern District of New York now for over a year, and we still know nothing. With Maxwell, the reason why, I hope that she makes it to trial and all this is because then it has to come out in open court and we can find out what's actually in there.
That's exactly right. And that is part of what people have speculated about, is that he kept all this evidence, kept kept all the surveillance footage, kept all these detailed records so that he had dirt on other people so that they could not turn him in. And now it looks like we're getting details that Maxwell was very much part of doing the same thing. At this point, too, the fact that Prince Andrew is not cooperating
disgraceful.
Is absolutely unconscionable, because all we are learning more and more is how deeply involved, how personal and close the relationship was. And look, he claims he did nothing wrong. He claims the photo was maybe photoshopped that we've all seen with him with young girls. What he needs to do is to come forward and speak to if he truly is innocent. Tell us what you know, Prince Andrew. Tell us what you know.
Well,
tell us what you've learned from Ghislaine in your many years of close association. Tell us what you know. The fact that he will not come forward, will not cooperate, is absolutely stunningly unconscionable.
It really is. And, recall in that disastrous interview that he said that he doesn't sweat because he has a glands issue. And I think he's sweating a little bit right now.
I forgot about that part.
Next on Rising, the president's advisors, they want to reduce unemployment benefits as millions wonder about the status of a second stimulus check. We're going to get the latest on the possible new economic package with the Washington Post White House economics reporter Jeffrey Epstein when Rising continues.